My name is Samuel. I've worked as a dental assistant at a small clinic in Graz, Austria since 2018, but everything that truly mattered to me began in 2022. Back then, my days followed a quiet rhythm, sterilizing instruments, prepping exam rooms, handing Dr. Meyer his mirror and probe, calming nervous patients with a soft word or a warm towel. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work, and I liked the order of it, the clean white walls, the hum of the autoclave, the way pain could be eased in under an hour. But in March 2022, Janine walked into the clinic for a routine cleaning, and my orderly world tilted on its axis. She wasn't like most patients. She didn't flinch at the sound of the drill or grip the armrests too tight. She sat calmly, even smiled when I handed her the protective bib. "You have kind eyes," she said, out of nowhere. I nearly dropped the suction tube. Her name was Janine, a freelance translator. She just moved to Graz from Linz. She came in for a checkup but stayed 10 minutes after just to ask me about the little scar on my thumb from a bike accident when I was 12 and whether I'd ever tried the strudel at the bakery down the street. I saw her again 6 weeks later, for a filling this time. And again 3 months after that. I started noticing the dates on her chart, hoping, waiting. We didn't talk much during appointments, protocol, you know, but our glances grew longer. One day, as I adjusted her headrest, our fingers brushed. She didn't pull away. Instead, she whispered, "Do you ever take lunch breaks alone?" I did, always at 12:15, in the tiny park behind the clinic. The next week she was there, sitting on the same bench, holding 2 coffees. "I figured you'd need a break from all those teeth," she said, grinning. That's how it started. In sunlight and shared silence, then laughter, then confessions. We met every Thursday during my lunch, then after work, then weekends. She loved old films, rainy walks along the Mur River, and cooking with too much garlic. I told her about growing up near Salzburg, how I became a dental assistant after my father lost his job, how I found peace in helping people feel less afraid. By summer 2022, we were inseparable. We picnicked under the trees at Stett Park, watched the sunset from Schlossberg, danced in my kitchen to vinyl records I'd inherited from my grandmother. She kissed me for the first time in August 2022, right after I got off shift, still in my scrubs, my hands smelling of antiseptic. She didn't care. "You're real," she said. "That's what I love." We moved in together in October 2022. Her books filled my shelves. Her slippers sat by my bed. On cold nights she'd press against my back and whisper stories in 3 languages, German, English, Swahili, just to hear me laugh. I saved every one of those moments like X-rays, clear, precious proof that something beautiful existed inside me. On New Year's Eve 2022, I took her to the top of the Uhrturm. Snow fell softly as I got down on one knee, not with a ring from a jewelry store, but with one I'd had custom-made using a mold from a dental impression kit. She laughed through tears and said yes. We kissed as Graz glittered below us, bells ringing in 2023, like a promise. But 2023, that's when the cracks began to show. At first it was small things. She'd come home late saying clients needed last-minute translations. She stopped joining me for dinner, said she was tired. I gave her space, thought it was stress. Then I noticed her phone, always face down, always buzzing. Once while she showered, it lit up with a message, "Miss your voice. Can we talk tonight?" From someone named Im. I asked her about it gently. She exploded. "You're spying on me?" "No," I said. "I'm just noticing you're not here anymore. Even when you're in the room." She cried, said it was nothing, just a friend going through a divorce. But her hugs grew stiff, her eyes avoided mine. By spring 2023, we were strangers sharing a bed. She stopped calling me Liebling, stopped leaving notes on the coffee machine, stopped asking about my day. I tried to fix it, planned a weekend in Hallstatt, the place where we'd first said, "I love you" in September 2022. She canceled last minute. Too much work, she said. Then on an October evening in 2023, she came home with a suitcase. "I can't keep pretending," she said, voice hollow. "Pretending what? That this is enough, that you're enough." The words hit like a dropped tray of instruments, sharp, sudden, shattering. She'd been seeing him since May. Im, a writer she met at a translation conference. "It just happened," she said, like our love was a typo she could backspace away. I stood in our hallway, the same one where I'd hung her coat the first night. She stayed over in November 2022. and felt everything I'd built collapse. I didn't beg, didn't shout. I just asked, was any of it real? She looked at the floor. It was real, until it wasn't. She left that night, took her books, her red scarf, the photo of us at the Alps, left behind my heart, still beating, but broken like a dropped porcelain crown, impossible to glue back perfectly. I went to work the next morning, sterilized tools, smiled at patients, handed doctor Mir his mirror. No one knew that inside I was numb, just going through the motions, like a tooth without a nerve. It's been over a year now. I still work at the same clinic. Sometimes a patient reminds me of her, the way they tilt their head, the sound of their laugh. I pause, breathe, keep going. I never deleted her number, never threw out the dental mold I used to make her ring. Some days I wonder if she ever thinks about the man who loved her enough to craft a promise from plaster and hope. But life, like a cavity, doesn't wait. It moves on, and so do I. One patient, one breath, one quiet day at a time, because that's what you do when love walks out of your life like a patient after an appointment. You clean the room, reset the chair, and prepare for the next person, even if your hands still remember the shape of theirs.